Hi beautiful one, welcome home. Today we're going to talk about the beautiful, magical, transformational experience of rebirth. What exactly triggers rebirth? Is it simply a gift of grace? Can we bring about rebirth for ourselves? Can we lean into rebirth? What's the best way to approach rebirth? Alright, let's get started. Intro! Had a beautiful morning this morning, engaged in a little bit of Shinrin-yoku, a little forest bathing, which was an incredible experience this morning. I really loved just walking barefoot down the path through the forest today, feeling fully at one with all of the plants and the moist earth and the butterflies and the birds. I feel most whole when I'm immersed in wild nature. I'm getting extremely excited about hitting the road. It's really making me happy. Been gathering lots of odds and ends for the van build out, including some really cool shed windows that I found online that are tempered glass. They're single pane rather than double pane, but with some curtains I should be able to keep the warmth in. And they're going to be much lighter weight, which will be good since they're going to be up in the top part of the van. These octagon shaped ones arrived today, and the rest of them are arriving on Saturday. I also ordered some cedar shingles for the siding, which I think is going to make it look really beautiful. It's going to look like a little cottage sitting on top of the van. And I got a Six Flags season pass for 2020, which, oh my god, I'm super excited about. I love roller coasters. Love roller coasters. The bigger and scarier, the better. Which is really interesting because this body-mind is terrified of heights. It's terrified of falling. Yet completely addicted to the experience of sitting in this little tiny seat and propelling itself wildly through the air at ridiculous speeds, plummeting down giant hills straight down. There's something about facing that fear head on that really feels great to me. It really makes me feel alive in this human experience. It's really important for us to face our fears in this life, and the more powerfully we can face them head on, the more powerful the transformational release of the experience. What fears have you been facing lately? And what fears do you need to face? Facing any fears in your life helps you in every other aspect of your life, even facing the fear of taking a cold shower. I highly suggest you experiment with some fear facing and see how it transforms your life. Speaking of transformation and rebirth, I had an amazing dream a few nights ago. Almost every single night I have a dream where I am living and traveling with a community of people post the fall of civilization. Sometimes it's in buses and cars, sometimes trains, sometimes on foot. But in this particular dream we were in a spaceship. It was a multi-generational spaceship, and we'd been traveling for an extremely long time. We had left Earth because it had become almost completely uninhabitable. But at this point in time, we were rushing back to the Earth because she was about to be reborn. And we wanted to make sure that we were there so that we could be reborn with her. So we rushed back to the Earth and we made it in time. And we landed and we were sitting in our ship waiting, anticipating the rebirth experience. And we were starting to feel the energies and reality unwrap and unravel. We knew that we were about to be reborn. We had no idea what we were going to be reborn into, what the experience was going to be like, but we knew there was going to be beauty and love and joy and peace and light. And just as the rebirth experience really started to pick up speed, I woke up back here on Earth in this time. But it's left me with a really strong sense that rebirth is imminent. It's on the horizon. Rebirth is coming. But a part of that rebirth is death. Certain things have to pass away. We have to let go of certain things, certain aspects of ourselves, certain aspects of life, certain people, certain ways of approaching life. These things have to be let go of so that we can be reborn. I don't think we can make rebirth happen. It feels like that wave of transformation I was talking about in the last video is just moving through, and you ride the wave as best you can. But the more fully you give yourself over to that transformation, to that death, to that rebirth, the more powerful the experience is going to be for you. These energies pass through the body-mind of the all. They pass through your body-mind. They pass through reality and your experience. They're an opportunity for you, and it's up to you as to how much you're going to offer yourself to that opportunity. Last week I mentioned that the strong feeling of need for other people was fading, and it felt really good and wonderful and comfortable to relax into that. And then a few days after I made that video, I found myself triggered very hardcore into loss and longing and missing of one person in particular, which pitched me into this whole story of loss and longing and victimhood and all that bullshit. When I was in Asheville a few years ago, I fell in love with a young man who seemed to also fall in love with me. It was a really beautiful experience, but also really confusing, for he himself is very confused. He ended up completely walking away from me, and I didn't hear from him for months. And then since then, he'll come back every now and then, and we text or chat for a bit, and then he disappears again for a while. Over the past few months, he's messaged me 3 different times, saying that he wanted to come live on the land once my mother and I found land, that he was sorry for the way he handled things a few years ago, and that he really wanted to talk about that. Yet each time afterward he disappears again, pulls his energy back and withdraws. And he did that once again. I heard from him just a couple of weeks ago, and then he withdrew. And I hadn't been trying to contact him because I could feel what was going on, and in my gut I knew that this wasn't the best situation for me. I need someone who's comfortable with their sexuality and comfortable with me, and wants to be with me. But for some reason this last weekend, I don't know why, but I fell into believing that things were going to work out. And I felt a desire to communicate with him, so I texted him and got back a rather cold response, which I knew was going to happen. I pushed him a bit until he finally told me that he didn't want to be in contact with me right now, that he wanted to distance himself from me. And I knew in that moment that he was a complete waste of my time, and that it was time for me to let go. I grieved for a couple of days, but what emerged through the center of that, which is bringing me great joy, is the freedom that I feel from no longer being attached to the story that he and I might be together. It's such a waste of my time and energy. I'd rather be completely alone than having someone drag me down in any way, shape, or form. If I enter into another relationship with someone, it's because they're awake and aware and conscious and loving and kind, and that they actually want to be with me and aren't afraid of that or of themselves. Is that going to happen in this lifetime? I don't know. But again, I'm not terribly attached, which feels awesome. If someone shows up, great. If no one shows up, fantastic. I really do enjoy being on my own, and I'm really diving deep into the lesson that seeking the one outside you is pointless. You are the one is inside you. The more you can deepen that relationship with yourself, the better off your experience is going to be. If you're trying to reflect it outward and find someone outside of you to bring to you what's already inside of you, that's only going to lead to suffering. Not to say it can't naturally arise and happen, but after a lifetime of seeking it, I find that seeking it only leads to suffering. So I feel myself sliding into a rebirth. There's been a lot of death, there's been a lot of letting go, there's been a lot of transformation, and I feel this rebirth on the horizon, and it's going to change everything. And I'm ready for it. What about you? Are you feeling that rebirth coming? Are Are you opening yourself up to it? Are you ready? Wonderful. I'm so grateful that you're here. If you like this video, please like it below so others will see it, and be sure and subscribe if you haven't already. I love you very, very much, and I hope you're having a beautiful day. Remember, something wonderful is going to happen today. Peace.